Now after Jesus explained the abomination that causes desolation, spoke by the prophet Daniel, he warns us, for then there will be great tribulation such as not been since the beginning of the world, until this time, no, nor ever shall be. Now in the next clip is a newspaper report that I found July 2009, that's a red light, signaling us that the fulfillment of Revelation 13 verse 16, that no one will be able to buy or sell if you do not have the mark or a number in your hand or in your forehead. Now a number in connection to the number of the beast, 666. Now this is a news article, cash to become extinct as chips take off. Now this was on the 15th of June 2009. Cash is accelerating down the path to extinction as new technologies threaten to mark the end of loose change within a decade. Now bank and credit union bosses say cash won't be alone, with wallets and credit cards also likely to disappear too. They told the Advisors Roundtable Forum that cash and cards will be replaced by computer chips, embedded in mobile phones, watches or other portable devices. And you can see it there. This thing is coming. It is not a myth, it's a reality. Now they say in our mobile phones, watches or other portable devices. Now the ultimate goal is in your hand or in your forehead. That's 100% safe, a tracking device, and it cannot get lost.
Now, when was the last time you went to a shop and paid by cheque? Well, it's probably quite a while ago, as many high street stores will no longer accept them. Well, now banking experts are predicting that cash may be about to go the same way. But how will we pay for things like a cup of coffee if we don't have a pocketful of loose change? Our technology correspondent Rory Keston-Jones has been finding out.
Just what do you call money these days? Is it a handful of coins and notes, or are cards taking over? And are some forms of money coming to the end of their lives, like the cheque, 350 years old this year?
The use of cheques has been declining progressively for some time. The main substitution is the growth of electronic payments.
It's not just cheques that are under threat from cards. Next month, Barclays will start issuing contactless debit cards, which allow you to make payments under £10 without entering a PIN number. And this is not just about cards. The contactless technology in these is now being transferred to these too. There's a growing feeling that the mobile phone could become the digital wallet of the future. And that could not just make cash irrelevant, it could make cards obsolete too. So it's the mobile phone which may become the best way to pay. Here's how one expert sees life in 5 or 10 years' time.
When you go to buy a cup of coffee, you'll just tap. If you're buying a pair of shoes, you'll punch in your PIN and tap. And if you're buying a car, you'll speak and your voice or your fingerprint will identify you, and then you'll punch in a PIN and tap.
Some retailers are embracing the new technology, but others are worried about what they will pay.
What we're concerned about is that contactless is a replacement for cash, but it's being priced at a much higher rate for debit, which is about 4 times the price of a cash transaction for a retailer.
Now, beside the unification of nations as the Bible predicted that it will happen in the last days, the Bible also warns us in Daniel 7 verse 8 that another little horn, the Antichrist, will come up among them. Now them is the 10 horns, the 10-nation confederation. Now see the previous verse in verse 7. And the Antichrist will have a mouth that's speaking great things. He will speak against the Most High. Now we see that in Daniel 7 and Revelation 13. And power will be given to him. In other words, he will reign for 42 months. Revelation 13 verse 5. Now that is the last 3.5 years of the 7-year tribulation, or the week of Daniel. in Daniel 9 verse 27. So we see that the Antichrist will rule the world for only 3.5 years, and that it will be the last 3.5 years of the 7 years tribulation period, or the week of Daniel. Now, if the 10-nation alliance of the Western European Union is the 10 kings that the Bible are talking about, then it could be possible that Javier Solana is paving the way for the Antichrist to appear very soon. Especially if we consider the strange coincidence that the office job of Javier Solana was created by a document, Article 666. And when he came in office, Solana created the document Recommendation 666 that describes the rules and regulations of the 10-nation military alliance, the Western European Union. But we have to wait and watch and see how things unfold in the European Union and the Western European Union, the military force of the European Union. Now, I do not believe that Javier Solana is the Antichrist. Now, in another DVD documentary that I'm making about rising false Christs, I will show you more about the Christ that the world is waiting for to be revealed. Now, he is known as the Mahdi, or the 12th Imam. Now, we have to keep in mind, just as we as Christians readying ourselves and expecting the second coming of Jesus Christ, so do the world also readying themselves and expecting their Christ, Antichrist, to come. Now, I will talk more about that on that DVD. And then in Daniel 7 verse 20, the Bible tells us more about this little horn known as the Antichrist. That his look was more stout. Now, stout, the Greek word for stout is rob, which means captain, chief, great, lord, or master. Now, the Bible says that his look was more stout than his fellows. Now, the Greek word for fellows is kopro, which means associates. In other words, the Bible is telling us that the Antichrist will stand out from all the other worldly leaders or the kings, his associates around him. His appearance will be different, more stout, highly in person, like a kind of a Caesar, an emperor. In Daniel 8 verse 23 to 25, the Bible tells us more about the personality traits of the Antichrist. Now, the translation in some Bibles is a stern-faced king. Now, the King James Bible talks about a king of fierce countenance, understanding dark sentences. Now, dark sentences is the occultic world of Satan. Now, his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. In other words, he will receive his power from Satan. And he shall destroy wonderfully, he will be a destroyer, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. Now, that is the followers of Jesus Christ, the true Christians. And then in Daniel 8 verse 25, and through his policy, diplomacy, also he shall cause craft. Now, the Greek word for craft is myrma, and it means in the sense of deceiving, fraud, deceitful, guile, subtlety. Also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. Hy sal voorspoedig wees daarmee. And he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace, is that peace talks, shall destroy many. Now, he shall also stand up against the Prince of Princes, and that is Jesus Christ, but he shall be broken without hand. In other words, he shall be broken not by a man's hand, but by Jesus Christ himself. Now, the Bible calls the Antichrist by many different names. Now, he is known as Antichrist, Beast, Man of Sin, or Son of Perdition. Now, the Standard English Version Bible talks about Man of Lawlessness, Little Horn, or a fierce-faced king. Now we see in Strong's dictionary, fierce means strong, mighty or powerful.